Hello friends, and welcome to yet another captivating video of Wisdom Zone. And I'm quite sure you have already guessed it that today I have the second part of practice spoken English, and this video is just for English speaking practice. And today I'm also going to discuss so many latest techniques to practice your spoken English so that you can become more fluent and proficient in your communication. Today also I'm going to discuss so many new sentences and also use of be verb so that you can correctly construct sentences in the simple present tense and without any hesitations. So if you are looking for some great English practice, this video is just for you. So watch this video carefully and do not skip it at all. And it is also my earnest request to all the new viewers, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do not wait and subscribe to Wisdom Zone so that you can get the first notification of this type of informative videos. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. So welcome back friends. So as I already mentioned that today this is the second part, and today I am going to discuss some important aspects of spoken English and how to practice effectively and construct some beautiful sentences using the simple present tense, as well as how you can use have and has in simple present tense. So before I move forward, let me quickly tell you that the link of the previous part is given in the description. So if you haven't checked that video, so please do not forget to check that video. That's going to help you immensely so that you can also practice in a better manner. Let me tell you, today we are going to learn the common use of be verbs in the simple present tense. And second thing which you are going to learn, we are also going to learn where to use the be verbs in first person, second person and third person. And thirdly, we are also going to discuss the use of have and has in simple present tense. And after that, I'm also going to discuss so many sentences and practice. And at last, I'm going to discuss some latest practice techniques which you can use and practice effectively and become more fluent and confident in your spoken English. So without wasting any more time, let us get started with today's discussion. So as you see friends, at first I'm going to discuss the use of be verbs, and especially in the simple present tense. Be verbs are also called auxiliary verbs, and in the simple present tense we primarily use three main be verbs, that is am, is and are. Okay, these are the three be verbs we use frequently. So today I am going to show you where to use am, where to use is and where to use are, right? So at first, as you see on your screen, use of am. So we use am only in case of first person, and that is singular number, that is I. So let's see where to use it, and let's also see some sentences using am. So as you see, am is used to talk about profession, your name, your relation. So as you see the example, I am Roy, so I'm talking about myself, I'm introducing myself. So in order to introduce yourself, you can use am. And the next is, you can talk about your relation with someone, that I am Sam's cousin. So you use am also to talk about relationship. Okay, you can use am to talk about your relationship with someone. Then you can use am to talk about your profession, that is I am a doctor. Okay, so this is a positive sentence. Obviously you can also make negative sentence using am, that is I am not a doctor, that is a negative sentence. So that's the way you can use am in the simple present tense and discuss your profession, your name and your relations, right? Up next we are going to see where else we can use am. You can use am to talk about your condition, your appearance, your marital status. So let's see some examples and sentences. As you see, the first one, I am sick. So I'm talking about my condition, health condition. I am not well, I am sick. So it's a positive sentence. Similarly, we can make negative sentence. As you see, I am not sick. That is a negative sentence. You can use am here also. Up next, you can also describe yourself. You can give your physical description. As you see this next sentence, I am tall. This is a positive sentence. And again, we can also use negative, I am not fat, to talk about your physical status. So up next, you see the next sentence. You can talk about your marital status using am. So I am single. That's the way you use am to talk about your marital status. And also you can use am not, the negative, that I am not married. So I hope it's crystal clear where you can use am, and apart from that you can also use am to talk about nationality. You can talk about your nationality using am. As you see the next example, I am Indian. It's a positive sentence. Again, you can make a negative sentence, I am not Japanese. So like this way you can talk about your nationality also and describe. So up next, I'm going to discuss the use of is, which is a second be verb or auxiliary verb for today. And let me tell you, as you see on your screen, we use is only in case of third person singular number, that is he, she, or it. And we do not use is in case of other person, right? Only in case of third person singular number, that is he, she, and it, we use is. So we use is to talk about someone's name, relation, profession. So let's see some sentences. As you see, the first one, his name is Sam. He is my cousin. You're talking about your relationship here. And up next, you see the next sentence, you're talking about someone's profession. He is a teacher. And this is also a positive sentence. Similarly, we can make negative sentences also. As you see the next example, he is not a doctor. This is a negative sentence. Up next, we are also going to see in which other situations we can use is. We can also use is to talk about someone's condition, appearance, marital status. As you see the sentence, he is too busy. So when you're talking about someone's situation, condition, present status, we can use is to describe. He is too busy. And you can also make negative sentence, he isn't busy. So this is the contraction, okay? And we sometimes use contraction in spoken English, isn't. That is a contraction of is not. So similarly, you can see the next sentence, my uncle is tall. You can give someone's physical description, your friend, your uncle, family member, and that time also you have to use is. My uncle is tall. The next sentence is, my uncle isn't fat. So like this way you can also make a negative sentence. And also at last you can talk about someone's marital status. As you see the next example, he is married, and the negative is he is not single. So like this way you can use negative sentence also, and you can use the contraction, that is isn't. So I hope it's crystal clear how to use is, be verb, how to use this auxiliary verb is, and where to use it, and how to make positive sentences as well as negative sentences. So up next we are going to focus on use of are. And as you see on your screen, are is used in case of when you're talking about plural, especially we, they, and also in case of second person, that is you. So let's see some sentences. As you see the first sentence, we are poor. So it's a positive sentence. Similarly, we can make a negative sentence, we are not rich. So that's a negative sentence. You can again use short form, that is contraction, we aren't rich. So see the next sentence, we are using they here. I'm using they. They means third person plural, they are rich. And similarly you can make a negative sentence, they aren't poor. So that's the way you can use are, auxiliary are, to talk about plurals. And after that you can also use are to ask questions. As you see next sentence, you can ask the question like this way to second person, are you happy? And you can confirm someone's name, are you John? So like this way you can make interrogative sentences, right? Apart from that, you can also use are to make more interrogative sentences. As you see, are the new neighbors helpful? Our new neighbors are helpful. And obviously you can also make more negative sentences, our new neighbors are not helpful or aren't helpful. So like this way you can use are to talk about third person plural, right? They, or we are talking about third person plural here. First is an interrogative sentence, are the neighbors helpful? And the second is an affirmative sentence, our new neighbors are helpful. And the third one is a negative sentence using are, our new neighbors are not helpful, and the contraction is aren't helpful. So up next we are also going to see the use of have and has. So let me show you, let me break it up. As you see on your screen, have is used in case of first person singular as well plural. Singular is I and plural is we. And also we use have in case of second person, that is you, and we use have in case of third person plural, that is they. So let's see some sentences. I have a car. Similarly, the negative, if you want to make a negative sentence, then you have to use don't. I don't have a motorbike. We have a big house. I'm using first person plural, and the negative is we don't have a garden, right? So that's the way you can use. So as you see the next example, they have a home theater. So I'm talking about here third person plural they, and we can also make a negative sentence, they don't have a big house. Okay, so like this way you can use have, and I'm quite sure it's clear where to use have. That is in case of first person, both singular and plural, and second person, and only in case of third person plural, that is they. Up next, let's turn our attention towards has, and has is only used in case of he, she, or it, that is third person singular number, right? So let's see a sentence using is he has a smart TV. Okay, and similarly when you want to make a negative sentence, here you have to use doesn't, and when you use doesn't we have to use have, not has. So this is one thing you have to remember. So he has a smart TV. The next sentence, as you see, he doesn't have a smartphone. Okay, so here to make a negative sentence, when it's third person singular number, we use doesn't and follow it with have. So I hope it's crystal clear. Today we discussed so many interesting sentences, and I have in fact shown you where to use am and where to use is auxiliary and where to use are, and I have discussed so many interesting sentences and I have given so many examples. So please practice and carefully follow the sentences and try to make sentences yourself. So at last I'm going to tell you about some interesting practice techniques which you can use so that you can also practice effectively and become more confident and fluent. So as you see, some latest practice techniques. So you can describe yourself using am, the way I have mentioned. You can talk about yourself, your profession, your name. Then you can also give your physical description, that I am tall or I am thin. So like this way you can give your physical description also, and also you can make negative sentences as I already mentioned. Up next, you can also describe your family members or your neighbor or your best friend, and you can talk about their profession. You can, that means you can describe any third person, that is your friend, your family member, your neighbor. Okay, first try third person singular number and talk about their profession, talk about their status, talk about their belongings. You can also give their physical description, which is very important. And after that you can also talk about their possession, what they have or what they don't have. Understood? Or you can use third person singular number. Also you can talk about things someone has, that he has a big house, and then make a negative sentence, he doesn't have a car. So like this way you can make sentences and practice. Make one positive sentence using third person singular number, and then make a negative sentence using singular number. And apart from that, you can also practice making negative sentences. I already mentioned you can talk about things which you don't have or your family members don't have or someone doesn't have. So when you are talking about third person singular number, that time only use doesn't, and in case of rest we use don't. So I hope it's crystal clear how we can effectively practice. Today I discuss so many important aspects of auxiliary verbs. We learned three main auxiliary verbs which we use in simple present tense: am, is and are. I have shown you where to use am and how to use it. I have shown you where to use is and how to use. I have also shown you where to use are and how to use it. So please follow the sentences which I have described and practice. And again, it is my earnest request, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please do not wait and subscribe to Wisdom Zone so that you can get the first notification of the third part of this series whenever it is published. So stay tuned for further informative videos, and do not forget to like, share, comment and subscribe to Wisdom Zone.